Hello, welcome to Jason Cavness Experience. I'm your host, Jason Cavness. Our guest today, who's right now taking selfies, is David Robicheaux. David, thank you for being here today.
Hello. Glad to be here.
Yeah, so I got some food. I feel you might be hungry. So this is so you're from Texas too, right?
Yeah, he's in
So
Texas.
2 blocks, well, not 2 blocks down the same street is a place called Central Saloon. Supposedly opened in 1892.
Mhm,
Like Nirvana got started there.
mhm.
Man, what's the guy who sings the Big Butt song? Man,
The
the
big butt I like
Posse
big.
on Broadway, Posse on Broadway song. I can't think of his name right now, but he used to perform there.
Yeah,
Well, anyway, they actually have actual Texas brisket there, right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's called Texas brisket sandwich, like
It's
Central Texas.
authentic.
Yeah, and then
Look authentic.
every night they have live music every night, 8
Mhm.
p.m., which is pretty good.
That's good. That's really
And you got
good.
some hot pickles, some I don't know if you like onions, some mac and cheese. The mac and cheese is okay. I've had better, but
Jason doesn't hold back. He hooks it up. He hooks it up.
so get started. You're born and raised in Texas?
Yes.
Oh,
Well, some of it. In between Houston
yeah.
and Dallas.
Hey, scoot up just a little bit. Yeah,
In
yeah.
between Houston and Dallas.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
What do you call home?
I would call Houston home.
Okay,
Yeah.
because there's like a little competition in Houston Dallas, right?
Yeah. Oh man. Oh yeah. Yeah. You go to Dallas talking about Houston stuff, you can get beat up. They are serious. You don't mess with the Cowboys or the Texans.
Yeah. You know what? I started following the Texans this year just because the quarterback has the bottom. But man, I used to be a big time Houston Oilers fan, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Earl Campbell, Dan
Mm-hmm.
Pellegrini,
Mm-hmm.
all those people,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then that fuck ass owner took him to Nashville.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, Mr. Oilers. Mr. Oilers.
So
Yeah.
you joined the Marines right after high school.
Right out of high school.
Okay.
I got by a cafeteria recruiter.
So why the Marines?
Um,
Are you gonna be
well,
like everyone else? Say it was because of uniforms?
no, not because for me, I remember exactly where I was when 9/11 happened, and I really wanted to do something about it, and I ended up joining uh as an infantry 0311. I was supposed to be counterintelligence. I failed a piss test, and they put me in infantry. Uh, counterintelligence down to infantry. So I ended up going demolitions 0351 and became a squad leader from there. And yeah, yeah.
And
Oh, thank you.
were you in the Marines?
Uh, 2008. 2008. And I ended up getting hurt while I was there. Came home and somehow I'm still surviving because you're most likely to get shot here in America than you are at war.
Isn't that crazy though?
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Like
crazy.
I went to Afghanistan twice, right? It's like 1 second of pure horror
Hmm.
and 99,000 whatever of that pure fucking boredom.
Boredom. As soon as you get here, though, every
Like
other minute.
yeah, like especially where I'm right in Pioneer Square, you have to have your head on the swivel around here, unfortunately, right?
For real. No, for
We
real.
got mental cases, like so
Hmm.
when I pulled up to park this morning, so I have an expedition. I parked in the street. I got early enough to park the street.
Hmm.
Right in the storefront, right? There's this lady.
Hmm.
She's here all the time. She's like obviously mental case, right?
Yeah.
She yells at herself, talking to
Mm,
trees, right? And
mm,
like I don't know.
yeah.
Like I say, people with way more money, way smarter than me haven't figured this shit out yet.
Yeah. Oh, there. Since I got out here to Seattle, I noticed that there's a lot of people that's just strung out. They call it blue out here. I'm assuming that's fentanyl.
Yeah,
But it is like zombie
it
town
is.
in certain. I just like that is crazy. It reminds me of Las Vegas at 2 o'clock at night.
Did it.
Yeah.
So I got two stories for you. First, my nephew Jalen came to stay with us like a couple weeks, couple summers ago.
Hmm.
And back then I was working on the WeWork in downtown, like on 12 and 3rd Avenue.
Hmm.
I'm gonna forget the first day we caught the train from DuPont, from Lakewood, got off the train walking. He looked at me dead in my eye, like, Uncle Jason, are they filming Walking Dead here? Like, what the fuck is going on here, right?
It's real. That's real. No, for real.
And one time I say, Uncle Jason, I can record this, right? So you
Hmm.
did a video, right? This guy was dressed as a bird
Yeah.
at the stoplight, like talking like a bird,
Yeah.
like pecking
Yeah.
like a bird, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. He was in a whole different realm.
Yeah, you're like, what in the world's going on? Right?
He was in the shadow realm, having a great time.
Like I know it's all these like hot tech people, all these high smart people. Like I
Mhm.
want to say like all these tech people. I assume they have money, right?
Mhm.
And they have all this right here. Like there's no middle ground here.
Yeah, but that's at a lot of
It
places.
is.
A lot of the places I've gone to, you go to the really nice neighborhoods, and like right behind, like one street away from these rich areas, there's basically the hood where the servants, where the workers
Yeah.
live. You know, they don't live in a nice area; they live right outside of it, but it got to
Yeah.
be close enough to transmute.
Yeah.
So it's like you go to a rich neighborhood, one block over is Martin Luther King
Yeah.
Boulevard.
And this is bad to say, but isn't it like crazy? Like every city, of course, there's generalization, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Every city was a Martin Luther King Boulevard. There's some like violence going down.
Yes,
Like
that
Martin
is
Luther King is
real.
not known for like peace and love anymore, right?
Oh yeah,
Like
not his street.
no.
That's real. That's real. It reminds me of that Netflix special. They cloned Tyrone.
Yeah.
It was like, how do you have the same? How do you have literally the same demographic type of people on the same street, the same name street in every area,
Yeah.
if it's not done on purpose?
I'll go one farther. I bet if you did like a study, like we'll say a 1 mile radius of every that street across all cities,
Mm-hmm.
but it had the same percentage of liquor stores,
Mm-hmm.
same percentage of
Yes.
and I bet and won't be no grocery store be found anywhere.
Yes. It is horrible. I think it's more. I think, to be frank, I feel like it's extremely evident in minority neighborhoods, but this is something that's prevalent for the entire country.
Yeah.
Like it's all set up to enslave me in some way.
Yeah.
Vices. I go to the corner store just to fill up gas. What do I see in front of me?
Yeah.
Cigarettes that's going to kill me and
Yeah.
get me addicted. Alcohol at the grocery store. You know, all of these things
And
just to enslave me.
it's not like the what I call like a healthy beer, the kombucha or the IPA.
Mhm.
It's like the malt liquor
Yeah,
in the 40 ounce.
yes, they have you on the corner dancing.
And you better not finish whole 40 ounces, then you're not a man.
No, you got to finish it. You put some hair on your chest.
Yeah.
That's real.
But
That's
isn't it
real.
crazy? Like I've never been to Chicago. I heard like in Chicago, like it's like so segregated. So you got like one part black people, one part Polish, one part Slavic. So like so
Yeah.
segregated there, right?
Yeah, yeah. They had like little islands.
Yeah.
They had there. I haven't spent too much time down there, but I know that those people down there are stacked up like roaches,
Yeah.
like this, like nothing but high rises. And if you have a house, you're a millionaire.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah. So I was just talking to my niece earlier. She lives in a town called Antioch, California. It's like an hour
Oh,
something to San Francisco, right?
yeah.
I just randomly asked her, hey, what do you pay for rent? I'm just curious. She told me the amount, like, what the fuck?
It's Cali.
Like, and I've been in a place, it's not the best place, right?
Mhm.
It's like, okay, like you have to have your head swivel going there to a local apartment complex, right? I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And she has to pay for parking.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, you do. Look, let me tell you, I have a special heart for California. I have a special heart for California. And it's definitely not because of the prices. But I have a special heart for California. I spent a lot of time down there before I started my business and everything. I started off as a life coach, and after my father died and everything, I shot straight out, going state to state. California, I spent a lot of my time at. Let me tell you, it was so hard. Even if you got the money, finding a place down there is super freaking hard right now. But even if you didn't have the money, they have this thing that you don't find in any other city that I've seen so far. They have these pod apartments.
I've heard of those.
Yeah, you heard of those? Yeah. That's like really big down
You
there.
hear that one time a few years ago, this family, they were renting out the garage.
Mhm.
Not and it was the garage, like no access to the house at all, just the garage.
That's
The
crazy.
empty garage. Like you can put your furniture and the stuff,
Yeah.
park the driveway.
Yeah. And pay about $1,200 still.
Yeah.
Just for that.
Yeah. And then like I gotta go to San Francisco probably next month or a month forward to do my fundraise. So I'm looking at Airbnbs, right?
Oh,
I found one Airbnb because can't be too far away from the action, right? One Airbnb, this guy's renting his house out. He has like 4-bedroom house. Somehow he has like 4 bunk beds to eat in each room. So he's like, he could put 60 people in there. He's charging like $50 a night just to have the bed, right?
Oh, wow.
And that's actually a deal, right?
Yeah.
Just $50, free parking, access to the house 24/7.
Parking, yeah.
But thing is, you would potentially 16 other people you don't know, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know about that one.
Yeah, that's I mean, I have did that on Venice Beach. I went and stayed at this place called it was Podshare. Pod Share. That's the name of it. And it's like little cubicles, and it's
Yeah.
open to the whole community. It's like a commune or whatever. It was actually a really cool experience
Mhm.
because people, chilling,
That's the
beautiful
thing too.
area.
This house is like everyone's like startup founders doing
Yeah,
stuff to be kind of fine.
yeah,
But
but
so my niece, she lives like an hour away from everything, right?
yeah.
So I was thinking like, instead of me paying some random stranger Airbnb, I'll just pay her rent for a month.
Hmm.
But she told me, I was like, good Lord, I don't know if I want to do this, right? I gotta pay. I was thinking about paying the rent for a month,
uh,
and then but then I have to drive an hour back and forth, so I don't know what I'm gonna do, right?
yeah.
But it's like she told me the price, like, damn,
Oh goodness, what's the range? Was it like?
like over close to 2,500, and it's like a 2 bedroom, like maybe 700 square feet. It's
I
it's
couldn't
not
do
big
it.
at all, yeah.
I couldn't do it. I get an RV before I do
Yeah. But she has
that.
a son in the 10th grade, so that
Yeah,
kind of pays for it too,
that makes sense. That makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
So Houston, I don't people a lot of people know that, but Houston is actually a pretty diverse place, right? Like there's a lot of like Jamaicans,
Yes.
Vietnamese,
Is the
e-
number one most diverse city in the entire United States.
even more diverse than New York City.
Way more diverse than
I
New
wouldn't have known
York.
that.
Yeah.
I would have bet you money that New
Yeah.
York City is very
New
diverse.
York's bigger,
Yeah.
but it's not more diverse.
Okay. So talk about the diversity that you had when you growing up.
Well, and so I spent the first part from all the way up, from childhood to the age of 14 in Dallas, living on a farm in the countryside. And then I came to the city when I was 15 and spent the rest of my life there. And, it brought the hood at me, you know what I'm saying? It was,
Hey, while you're talking about just your camera, you're a little bit taller than I thought you were.
oh, there we go. It's,
It was cutting your head off
oh, no
before.
worries, no worries. No, Houston is, one of my good friends, Tony, he was a Vietnamese kid. Um, and I was really close with him and his family. I was learning
Yeah, I don't think people
Vietnamese.
realize how many Vietnamese people are in Houston because,
Yeah.
I mean,
It's a
I
big
could be wrong,
community.
but I think when they came over in the boats after the Vietnam War, I
Mhm,
think for some reason a lot of them went to Houston for
mhm.
whatever reason.
There's no better pho than in Houston. If anyone goes to Houston, visit Pho One and Pho Two. Okay, and there's another place called Pho U, like really the Pho U.
So I was in Vietnam for 10 days in September.
Yeah.
I ate so much further. It was ridiculous. I had a
Nice,
great time there.
nice. Did it taste like more authentic?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Raw something else. Love me some good eating. Houston, good eating all the way through. One thing about Houston is so big. You can't live there without a car. That was
Yeah.
one of the big differences that I experienced coming up here. It's like to get to from the north side of Houston to downtown, it takes 45 minutes. And that's crossing three cities out here.
And isn't I remember seeing somewhere that Houston is actually bigger than the state of Rhode Island or the state of Delaware, something crazy like that.
Yes, 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 it is. It is way too big. Even we even have the world's biggest highway, Katy Freeway, 11 lanes.
Did not know that.
Yeah, the world's biggest highway, and it still got traffic.
Yeah. So there's like really no public transportation there, right?
Not really, not
No.
really. Is the trains are we don't they're not really good on the trains. They got buses, but they don't go everywhere. So the Dallas has public transportation on point, but
Yeah.
Houston, nothing.
Mm. So when you came back from Marines, talk about your transition from being a Marine to being a civilian, so to speak.
It was traumatic. I could not find a job. I did not want to be a police officer. I ended up becoming a security officer, and I didn't want to become a police officer because I knew that there was a bigger chance of me dying. you know, um, and so I ended up going security um, for a while, and yeah, it was quite hard because I didn't have any skills that I had. I hadn't built any skills up, and so coming back, I didn't really have any support. It took me some time to be able to access the VA, um, and they really tried to. The military really tried to mess me up on some. I ended up giving away some of my rights when I left the military. Um, uh, Marine Corps, they real good at fucking you over on things. And so after I got hurt, and this is before Obama changed a lot of things. But after I got hurt, I had the opportunity to possibly go back after 2 years in a upon doctor approval. 2 years passed, got doctor's approval, but then Fort Hood happened, and they changed the whole reenlistment process, and I was not able to go back because that was my intentions. But because of that document I signed, I gave up my GI Bill. I gave up a whole bunch of stuff to have the opportunity to come back, and just to be told I can no longer come back. So it put me in a precarious predicament.
So like no one told you like not to sign a document, or they were just like they trick you into it, or how that happened?
I didn't have anyone to support me. I had it was a Navy forgot his rank, but it was a Navy officer that tricked me into signing that. Crazy.
Yeah, and so you signed over your whole GI Bill.
Yeah. I signed over everything. I signed over everything. Um, I was told that I'd be able to come back, you know? And so they made it seem like, oh, you just leaving the hill and you're gonna come back. And what they really wanted was for me to leave without any benefits.
That's fucked up.
Yeah.
So did you have any like good memories of the Marines?
Yeah, my fellow devil dogs, we had, our share of fights, but it was all love, and when we hit the town, we hit the town. So from what I could remember during our good from the times I could remember, I remember a good time.
And how many years were you in?
2 years.
Oh, just 2 years. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. And where were you stationed at?
I spent almost all of my time at Camp Pendleton. Almost
That's
all of it.
California.
Hollywood Marine. Yeah, Hollywood Marine. Yeah, I end up hurting my shoulder on Mount Smoky doing a training regimen um, before shipping out to Iraq. I was supposed to do a tour in Iraq, and I end up hurting the shoulder pretty bad.
Okay.
You know,
Did it still bother you?
Yes, I can't do certain
No.
exercises. Lifting this up, yeah, it pops. They wanted to do surgery on my collarbone, but the documents they wanted me to sign from the Navy was basically saying they can leave a fork in me and I can't say nothing. Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah, yeah.
So so you got the Marines. You had some trouble transitioning. What finally got over the hump? Like don't make you like get a hold in your life, so to speak. Like what transition? Like you got a mentor come in, or you just figured out on your own?
It was a lot stranger for me. Um, it was a lot stranger for me. Um, I'm pretty spiritual, but at this time, I'm definitely not. I actually, after leaving the military, I actually went down a pretty bad road, depression stuff for a while, and one day, and I ended up getting involved in drugs and stuff like that. I was really young, drinking and stuff, and just trying to forget my problems. And one day I remember my father, God rest his soul, he had basically kidnapped me from my apartment. I had moved to Dallas, Pleasant Grove, but he had kidnapped me and took me to the country, lived in the country, and he held me for 3 days. And on the third day, he had took me to church with him. I went to church with him, but I remember sitting in a church, and the people was praising and worshiping, and I'm at the front pew because I didn't want to be bothered with nobody. And I remember all of a sudden seeing myself in third person, like looking down at myself in the whole congregation.
I have to
from
ask.
from the
Were
center.
you on anything? Were you smoking anything? Like
Nope.
no. Okay.
3 days completely sober.
Okay.
My dad had kidnapped
Were
me.
you eating and stuff? And
Hmm?
were you eating?
I was eating.
Okay.
I was eating,
It wasn't
drinking
like it was
water.
like a Moses fast and
Yeah,
God
it
came
was.
to you. Okay.
No, it was strange because it was like nothing leading up to it. It wasn't like a byproduct of a fast, and that's not something that's happened to me since. Not like to that level. So what happened? As they're worshiping, I all of a sudden see myself in third person, looking down at myself in the congregation, and I see myself like fall over, like as if I had died from a heart attack. I had clutched my chest, and I fell over to the side on the pew, and it looked to me as if I died, and And it scared me so much. It scared me so much that you know, I told my dad everything I was involved in, and I made a really big change.
Like
Re-
everything?
everything.
Okay.
I told him everything.
And how you react to that? Was like, thanks, son, good for telling me. We're like, oh my God, son, I didn't know you were that fucked up of an individual.
It was like, yeah, it was the
Goddamn,
latter.
what the fuck, son?
It was the what
Like,
the fuck.
I didn't raise you like this.
It was the what the fuck. It was a big what the fuck. But that vision, whatever that was, that scared me that bad, and it really made my life take a big change. Um, I end up I end up joining the church for a good 10 years. I end up becoming a youth pastor. I'm no longer a part of that church. I'm a lot more spiritual than I am than I was, than religious. But it was definitely a supernatural experience that changed my whole direction.
Yeah. And so you say you're not religious anymore, right?
Yeah.
What caused that to come about?
Well, while being a youth pastor, I've had, I preached all over Houston and in several different places in the states, New York, and I got the chance to meet a lot of different pastors, bishops, and I realized, once you do it in so long and you're living like this lifestyle that's like really strenuous and devout, and then you meet these other people that are higher up than you. Now I realize I started asking myself the question: Am I the only one that's like trying to do it? Like trying
So
to
how
live
does one
right?
become a preacher, right? I mean, like, is it just I'm Jason Cabinet, I'm gonna preach to whoever I want as long as they give me 10% of the money, or
Yeah.
like you gotta be certified? Like, is the process like how does it work?
Well, for me, I can't. For me, I was pointed out by a pastor. Uh, Traditionally, it's through the right hand of fellowship. And I know that we've regulated these things, and usually, you get your certification, seminary, or whatever. But traditionally, it was through the right hand of fellowship. It's like the Freemasons. To become one, you got to ask one, and so to become a pastor or to gain position, you had to have somebody in position to lay hands on
Okay. Okay.
you. Yeah.
And so what made you like kind of transition from being religious to like this spiritual? Like something happened, or was like
Oh, well, after my father died, well, before my father died, I had a extremely spiritual moment where it seemed like like a lot of information was downloaded to me. It felt like, and and I was given information that um that seemed like it was telling me things that was going to happen in the future. And it was so strongly, felt it so strongly that I believed it. And then when my father, in which it had me to go on this search, I started searching ancient texts everywhere, trying to understand parapsychology and things of that nature. And then and and it led to me having some more strange happenings. Um and then my when my father died, and that's when it really changed, and that's what actually led up to the creation of BlackMuse. I was going state to state as a life coach, um, teaching, these spiritual teachings that I had downloaded, and it was really good and then when I got to here in Seattle, I ended up becoming a life coach as soon as I got down. The same month I got down here, I've been becoming a life coach at the Echo Glen Children's Center, the juvenile rehabilitation place, and so now I'm bringing my spiritual teachings to the prison system, and it went very, very well. I ended up getting a contract with the Department of Vocational Rehabilitation, and I didn't expect to stay here. I was passing through. I'm thinking I'm about to cross over.
what year was this?
That was 3 years ago.
Okay.
3 years ago, 2021. Yeah.
And like how do one become a life coach?
Well, normally there's a process. Normally there is a process. There's different companies that certify. I did not take any of those processes. I gave myself that title. I went out and did it. and put my teachings out there, and those that would benefit from it flock to it. You know, those life coach is honestly that's a made up title and is a made up certification that they have out there. There's no certified certification for a life coach because there's no actual field of life coaching.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So what got you interested in being a life coach?
My need and desire to help people. And when I teach, I also learn. And whatever I'm teaching is like solidified. And so I have this process where I'm doing these two things at the same time. And so I had a giant need in me, especially after downloading all that information, a big need in me to put out there and help people.
So what made someone like a good student for you? What was like your perfect student, so to speak?
A perfect student would be someone who's willing to question everything. There are people that look for answers only to validate. A perfect student for me is a person that looks to answers simply to know what's true. So I would say a person who's devoted to truth. If you can put truth above all else, that's what it is. And so that means that I could be wrong, you could be wrong, everybody could be wrong, because not. Truth is subjective, but
Yeah, I would say like who determines what true is, right? Because like if you take somebody, on one side that's their truth, someone else is
Mhm.
their truth, right? How do you determine what the truth is?
Truth is truth. It's not something that you're going to be able to determine. Truth. We can experience this. We can experience truth subjectively, but truth is something that changes you. Rather, so subjectively, we change the image of truth, but truth changes us. So when I turn on the old school television and I turn it on channel like 5, there's no channel for that, right? There's static. That static on that television is actually radio waves from the beginning of our universe. This is a common static that sits behind our reality, right? That we can pick up through our radio antennas. But that you can call that, in a sense, truth. Where this is something that's stable, this is something that's unchanging. You can call the number 1 truth. You can call the number 0 truth. 2 is subjective, 3 is subjective. They're all the way up to 10.
So what's some of the stuff that you learn from your students,
From my
for
students,
the life college? I mean, the life coaching.
I would say in California is I picked up a student that was a startup. That was a founder of a startup out there, and this person was identified as male, but from what I was able to see, uh, had the body parts of a female, and coming from Texas, and I didn't understand gender and the fluidity. I'm still learning, trying to wrap my head around certain things.
In Texas, the pronouns are yeehaw.
Yeah. For real. For real. Oh, it's not much information out there, and people, are really against it. Um, but dealing with the kids out here, it's dealing with the children. You see just how much it affects them. Where where you have a person experiencing a certain lifestyle, and and people around them are pretty much telling them, "Oh, it's just a phase,"
Mhm.
or "You're not really who you say you
Yeah.
are." I don't care if a person want to identify as this, that, or another. I'm like, go right ahead. Go right ahead.
Yeah, this is my thing. I probably get blasted for this, but like my thing is this, right? And I'm not saying it right or wrong. This is my thought
Mhm,
process, but like you can't get a tattoo before 18, right?
mhm,
You can't drink a beer before you're 21.
mhm,
Can't join the military 17.
mhm,
But yet we're letting kids like make these life changing
mhm,
decisions at 9, 10, 12 years old, right?
mhm,
And
mhm,
it's known fact that kids are the so malleable, right?
mhm.
So I just don't know about that, right?
Yeah.
Like
No. Yeah. Yeah. I agree with that. I'm very much
has
against
to be some
the
kind of process, like I don't know,
some
like
of these surgeries. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, a process of going through
I mean, it should be
counseling.
easier to get a life changing surgery than it is to get a tattoo, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. And where you got to have a laser. I've seen the surgery.
Yeah.
That is a brutal surgery.
I mean, that's a life commitment, right? So I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, there's no going back.
uh,
There's no going back. But there's a like a whole demographic of people now that are detransitioning.
yeah. Yeah, I feel about that too. Like people like, and that's even worse. Supposed like more money and like even
Mhm.
more. What's I'm looking for? They have to go more therapy for that, right? 'Cause, like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you got people like make decisions at a young age, right?
Yeah.
Because I think like the man, our brain isn't fully formed like 25, so
Mhm.
like females are a little bit like 20, 21, right? So
Mhm.
I don't know. Like I
Yeah.
said, people waste more than me are doing this, so I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But each his own. Do your too, but has to be some kind of guidelines if you're under 18, I think.
Yeah, I'm never for experimenting with our kids, you know.
Yeah,
I definitely want them to feel a part of the community and to be understood, but there's other ways.
yeah.
You know, doing these to our kids, there's no excuse
I'm
for it.
like, okay, you're a guy, you think you're a girl, go wear a dress for a couple months,
Mhm.
and live the lifestyle, whatever,
Yeah. And see how you like it.
Yeah,
See how you like it.
I don't know.
Try it
Vice
out
versa
first.
for it.
Something do some step process other
Yeah.
than straight surgery.
Yeah, another thing gets me too. I'm probably glad, but I still do this. But have all these guys. For example, this was a guy. I can't remember his name. He was a swimmer
Mhm.
at Penn State. He was like, make this number up, number 10,000 swimmer
Mhm.
in the men's college, right?
Mhm.
Transitioned to a
Mhm.
woman. Now he's like the winning swimming all the time, right?
Oh yeah, I remember.
And a lot of people say, that's transphobic, whatever,
Mhm.
But like,
Mhm.
man, to me, like, if I'm a woman, I'm like, man, what's going on here? Like, if I'm a feminist,
Mhm.
I'm like, man, what's going on here, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
we're losing everything to men. I mean,
Mhm.
and people say it's like, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not smart to figure that stuff out. Just like, it's just, the balance to be unfair, right?
Yeah.
Like you're a female practicing all your life, and then,
Mhm.
some random chick shows up
Mhm.
and blows
Mhm.
your way, right?
Yeah, yeah. I
Right.
think I think they did the same thing in the weightlifting. It was a weightlifting
Oh yeah.
competition.
Yeah. So
Dude broke it by like 300 pounds.
yeah. Well,
Like,
you know what happened after that, right?
what happened?
So this person, she said, I identify as a woman. So
Mhm.
it's in Canada, so everything goes
Mhm.
from Canada. So they had to let her weight lift, right?
Mhm.
She broke it by 300 pounds, right?
Mhm.
And so the next day, the actual men's world champion weightlifting in Canada
Mhm.
that I now identify as a woman. So he competed and broke
Yeah.
all the records. He and at least the first one kind of, you could tell she's trying to like transition, right?
Mhm.
This guy, like,
Yeah.
he was still like a big muscular guy, right?
Mhm.
Like, you doing that spite? No,
Yeah.
you can't say nothing or you've been a hypocrite.
Yeah.
And had to shut up, right? And
Yeah.
he just put all the records out, right?
Yeah.
Just for how insane it is.
It's definitely some type of there's definitely some type of rules got to be set, but it's going to come to a place where it's like where we're going to end up just taking out the whole gender part of it and just be sports. Sports.
Yeah,
If you can hang, you can
yeah.
hang.
But then
If you can't,
you have like a 150-pound guy fighting a 155 girl. And don't get me wrong, in the military, I knew some females that would beat your ass, right?
mhm.
But they're few
Mhm.
and far between. Like, I knew this one lady, like she's 5'3", like quick and powerful, right?
Mhm.
She could take down any man in combative, right?
Yeah.
Ease. But no, most females can't do that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the testosterone it makes a difference. It definitely makes a difference. I see people that are transition
Yeah,
fully 5, 10 years into their transitioning from a woman.
yeah,
And after experiencing testosterone, that's a whole physical change.
yeah.
Your voice change, you got muscles. I, s- I saw uh well, let me speak of that. Let me bring in my sister. My sister is lesbian, but at one point in time she identified as male. And she accepts her whole self now. But at this time, I remember her saying to me, I'm more man than you. I'm like, well, you got it, sis.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
got it. You could have it. If that's the case,
yeah.
well, take
Like,
me out.
what's that one lady's name who used to be in the UFC, beats everybody's ass? I can't remember her name.
In the UFC,
Yeah, she became like a first world famous female fighter.
I remember her
She's been on
face.
some movies and stuff.
I remember her
Yeah,
face. I
but
don't
she
remember
was
her
like
name.
no
Yeah.
joke. Like, I don't think any man would want to fight her.
No. Oh no.
No,
Nope. Nope. Nope.
she easily
Nope.
beat everyone's ass. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's skill. Skill
yeah.
will defeat muscles any
Oh yeah,
day.
yeah. It's definitely a different world we live in, right? I mean, it's a
Yeah.
whole totally different world. I'm trying to adapt to it too. Sometimes, man, I don't understand this shit. What the fuck's going on, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, but
But do you feel like I mean, I personally feel like there's a push towards a gender war.
yeah,
I really do feel like there's a push for that, you know.
yeah. It's like, I don't know. There's like all these agendas out there,
Mhm.
the left or right, feminist, anti-feminist,
Mhm.
like pro gender,
Mhm.
Antifa. It's like everyone has an agenda, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't think none of these agendas have thought out the long term process of what happens if they win, right?
Yeah, I don't think so either. I
Like, what
don't.
happens if you do win, right?
Yeah, right. You have nothing to fight for. What do we do now? Well, I really feel like a lot of these movements and things ideas are needed, but at the same time, on the counter side of things, it keeps us segregated. It keeps us uh apart. Like me and you, we could be neighbors and spend 20 years as neighbors, but be separated further than a person here in America, than a person in Africa, just from who you decided to vote for
Yeah.
or what is your religion. If we needed to come together to come against a corrupt government, we would be completely unable to in any sense.
Yeah, cause like I watched some of the Grammys the other day. That part where like got Luke Combs. Like I had no idea who Luke
Mm,
Combs is. He's a country
mm,
singer, but he brought out Tracy Chapman to sing that song right.
hmm.
And most people are like that, right? Like
Yeah,
doing stuff like that, you know.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
like, cause you let the news media say, like they magnify the 1% on both sides, like doing bad stuff, right?
yeah,
I
yeah.
always say if we get rid of 1% on the left, 1% on the right, the extreme would be
Hmm.
a lot better.
Yeah, yeah, yes. Balance. We get some balance. Um, my partner Taylor, she says quite often that there should not be billionaires. And the reason why there shouldn't be billionaires is not because no one deserves that. It's not that someone doesn't deserve to have what they earn, but is that if you have a real fair marketplace and you're pushing people to become entrepreneurs that add to uh to the overall uh revenue of this country, you're going to be pushing for people to be entrepreneurs, and if you're doing that, there's going to be too much competition in that specific market for a person to become a singular billionaire. It shouldn't be like that.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be against monopolies.
So let's switch. Let's go back to your country living.
Yeah.
Talk about your country living because I grew up in the country too as a little kid. I,
Mm,
I I think there's no good area to grow up as country living. Talk about
I
some of
agree.
your experiences country living.
I agree. It's a favorite part of my life. Had a lot of animals, a lot of animals. I had uh 15 dogs, had over 50 chickens, over 50 rabbits. We had rabbits too. We had 15 ducks, we had two sheep, one goat, um, uh, we had a dog that was supposedly half wolf. My dad said it was half wolf. I don't believe him. Not in my, I did at that time. Her name was Lady. Um, we had a lot of animals, and we had doves. We had a lot of doves. My dad had those doves trained. He would let them out in the morning, and they always come back at night, same time. And so yeah, I spent all of my time in Seagoville, Texas, specifically, right outside of Dallas,
Okay,
countryside.
I know that city. I've heard of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Between Buckfoot and nowhere.
Okay. And I guess you did a lot of fishing and hunting growing up.
Oh yeah, yes. My dad was a big. We spent a lot of time going through the woods. A lot of time. I remember being drug up the river of Trinity River on boat because my dad is trying to spearfish an alligator gar, and he drug us up the
What?
river, a mile up the river until we ran out of gas. It was a bad day. It was a bad day.
Um. So, what are some lessons you took from country living that you that you take like on your life now? Because country living is a different lifestyle.
Hmm. I would say country living is where I learned to look up um, and be aware. I realized that most people out here in the city are not aware of themselves. They're not aware of the surroundings. They're just not aware. Walking zombies. People are asleep to their reality. Um, in the country, it was slow enough for me to think, for me to determine something good is something bad. Do I like this? Do I not like this? How do I feel about it? It was slow enough for me to figure these things out, and I think I had a lot less focus on certain things that other kids had, where I wasn't super focused on hanging out all the time because there wasn't too many people in my area. And I was one of the it was only 8 black kids at my school, and I was one of those 8 black kids, and I'm the only one that didn't listen to rap because my dad didn't let me listen to rap. until I didn't get introduced to rap till I was 14. Yeah. And so I was very different from all of the other kids. And I talk proper. Man, I got made fun of.
You took the face and stop talking white, that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah, they
Yeah.
call Oreo, like, what you doing pronouncing the O's? You enunciating and shit? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. So let's talk about my favorite person,
Mhm.
Luciana.
Yes, yes.
Did she win the contest last night too?
Yes, she did.
That was her. Okay.
Yes, she did. Oh, it was it.
So you didn't remind me to go.
Yes, and I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I apologize. I really apologize.
No worries.
Yeah, I really.
But she won
apologize.
again.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did. I want to show you. My phone screen sucks, but I will show you some of her new outfit.
And her stuff actually worked this time.
It was good. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. It worked out perfectly. It worked out perfectly. It was way better than any of us would have really thought. Like for real, for real. It was crazy. It's crazy. So this is wish this is not the exact one that I showed there, the sheet, but I did that today.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yes. And so she got a couple of dresses. She actually met with Patty Pan.
Oh, did she? How'd that go?
Yes, it went very well.
Good.
So
They did like a Zoom, I guess, or
yeah, it was Zoom, and we're gonna have
and you and Taylor were there, and
yes, and we're gonna have another one with her. We're gonna start up her first gallery. Lucy, for those that don't know, Lucy, we have a business pitch competition at BlackMuse with middle schoolers and elementary kids, and they develop their own metaverse. They develop metaverse assets, NFTs, digital art, things like that, and they develop a business plan around that. And we host a business pitch competition so they can showcase that. Lucia, which was our first business pitch competition winner, came a second time and rocked the show. Rocked the show. She had numbers. She included she made it maritime themed.
I'm going to interrupt this for a minute. So a lot of times these kids who start competitions, they're like parents or someone in their family like really tech savvy, right? No one in this young lady's family is tech savvy, right? None of them.
None of them.
Like she's doing all this on her own. Like she's like 13 years old, right?
Yes.
So I mean, all this tech stuff, like business stuff, like she really has no one in her family. Like I want to say they say support course, but they don't have the knowledge like other people do, right?
Yes. No.
And she's doing all this on to make it even more impressive.
Yes, they're all shocked. They're like, "Oh my god!" They're grateful. They're grateful, and they really want the best for her. I'm glad that she has parents that support her, but it is hard when they don't understand exactly what you're doing or why you're doing it, or if it even is profitable.
Yeah. So I was actually the judge of the last pitch competition, right?
Mhm.
And she won. And the mother was talking to me and David, like, I have no idea what's going on this. And David, this to me is fun. David's like, hey, you probably won't have to worry about paying for college because if this goes right, like we think, she can pay for college. I'm like, fuck that. She might not even go to college. For real. She might even have to go to college.
No, honestly, seriously.
I mean, this young lady is so talented.
Yes.
We need to have her come on the podcast if we can.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
She would love that.
Yeah.
Absolutely love
I would like to do a demo of her dress and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. That would be really
try
good.
to do that. Yeah.
That's it. Hey, you're gonna shake on that one.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
And like these kids, like most people like are scared as fuck as public speaking.
Yes.
Like some of them, of course, I judge some of the kind of shy and stuff, But this one kid, he like David had to take the mic away from him, right? He was talking, he's at a product demo, he's answering questions and shit. Like, damn.
That was good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you wouldn't. I'm telling you, last night, there was the attestants there was really good. We had, our second place winner, our third place winners. They all went hard. There was one of them. We did have another technical issue, as well with another.
Cheers, my friend.
Cheers.
2 Texas boys.
Just living large. Oh, that's good. That is good.
How was you shake the sandwich yet? How was your sandwich?
Oh, the sandwich is off the chain. You get now that you said something. It was off the chain.
So when I first started doing this podcast here in March, right? I just had another place but they charged so much money, so I moved in March. Actually, Eddie was my first podcast guest in here, right?
Really?
Yeah, my first one, right? I started off with 6 bottles of bourbon. I'm
Mhm.
down these last 2. So yeah,
That was last one. That's good.
yeah, I gotta replenish pretty soon.
That's really good. Oh wow. You can literally determine the length of the podcast
Yeah,
by how many bourbon bottles.
yeah, yeah. One. I can't think of the term, but there's definitely a factor between the length of podcast and how much
Mhm.
bourbon's drunk. My longest podcast has
Okay.
been was like 4.5 hours.
Really?
We drink a whole bottle of bourbon. Yeah,
Really?
yeah,
Oh yeah, that's a whole bottle. Oh,
yeah.
y'all was going in.
But this guy, he's like a research scientist. He got a
Mhm.
PhD in genetics. He served in the
Nice.
war. He wrote a book.
Nice.
Yeah, so we got a lot of stuff to talk about,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. Right. A lot of stuff to talk
Yeah,
about. That's awesome.
man. But I'm glad y'all like Patty Pan. I'm a big fan of
Really.
hers. Yeah, we met at an incubator a while ago.
Mhm.
Founders Institute. I've
Mhm.
never met her in person. She's just
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
like nice, you know.
Yeah. Yes. Very nice and
And,
informative.
yeah, I can imagine the mentorship she can provide Lucia.
Yeah. She has off. So she asked us that we're going to do a gallery for Lucia.
Okay,
We're going to set up an actual gallery, a virtual and a physical gallery.
where's that gonna be at?
We haven't figured out for the
Okay.
physical yet. I know there's an NFT gallery out here. We're gonna reach out to them. But we know that we are going to the virtual space.
Yeah.
We're gonna host her NFT gallery on Decentraland and on Sandbox. We
Okay.
bought real estate those platforms,
Okay.
and so
You talking about doing that Tacoma up here in Seattle?
Seattle.
Yeah.
We want as many people to come as possible, and in Seattle, it's like
It's a hub, unfortunately, you know.
yeah,
Like Tacoma does its best, you know, but
yeah,
yeah. Like I
yeah.
joke around, Seattle tries to be San Francisco and
Mhm.
Tacoma tries to be Seattle.
Yeah, it does. That's a good analogy. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, but man, yeah, I'm a big fan of Lucia. Like, man, her
Yeah. Yes. Oh my goodness. The
she doesn't make it because somebody messed up. Like,
yeah.
she has all the tools.
She knew she was gonna win.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
just knew
And this
it.
girl has so much confidence. It's insane.
Yeah. She came with a Venmo this time. She came prepared. First off, she came prepared to sell her jewelry.
Huh. Nice.
So she had the Venmo up for her presentation. I was like, oh, she's going good. Really, really good. You know?
Yeah. Because the first time I saw her, she didn't really have her stuff together right. She was
Mhm.
missing stuff. And
Mhm.
she just had a confidence like, I don't care if I have nothing.
Yeah.
Just me by myself is going to win this.
Yes. And she did.
Yeah.
She did. She came boldly. And she did that same thing this time. And her dad came this time
Yeah.
as well. And her just seeing her dad's face was like the best for me.
Her
Because
dad's probably like, what in the world? Like,
like he didn't even that was his first time seeing the
Yeah.
dress too.
Yeah.
He took his glasses.
like this is my daughter?
Yes. It was good. It was really, really good. And I really appreciate I just want to say, Jess, I really appreciate you investing into Lucia.
No, my pleasure.
Connecting to her with Patty. That is so amazing. And I really feel like even just so far, we've changed the direction of her life. Like this is like humane intervention. It's not divine, but humane intervention. And her mom expressed so much appreciation yesterday, especially because Lucia has this thing where she switches like most kids, just trying to find out what they like, and in this particular time, she's finally found something that she's just naturally good at and she enjoys it. She's going to be so successful. Cannot wait to get her on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad for her. So, how often do you do these pitch competitions?
It's quarterly. So BlackMuse is in collaboration with Metro Parks, and so we're at over 30 schools, delivering curriculum, teaching metaverse architecture and asset creation. And so after every session, which is typically 8 weeks, after every session we host a business competition. So I guess you can say every 8 weeks. Would that be quarterly?
I'm not sure. And then how do you pick these? Is it like a competition beforehand? Or you just pick random kids, or how's that work?
Oh, no, we invite everyone. Like this last one that just passed, we actually introduced the elementary kids this time, which we didn't do that the first time, which we had us a little worried, but it was successful.
Yeah, elementary kids pitch?
Yes.
Oh man, I've been scared of shit.
Yeah, they did so good. They did so good. They had the crowd in the palm of
Yeah.
their hands. Our second place winner um was a uh she created this world called Horse Farm, where you're farming horses and you're learning equestrian knowledge and how to take care of horses. And she created this entire world in Minecraft, programmed it and everything, where you can actually take care of these horses. They grow. Beautiful job. And she's elementary, and it was just really, really awesome to see um one uh a minority female and young in the tech space.
Mhm.
That
Yeah.
is beautiful, you know. And she won second place. And with a beautiful world that she presented and a great president. I really, if you saw that one,
Yeah.
that would have been your second Lucia.
Nice, nice. So let's talk about Black Muse for a minute.
Mhm.
How did they get started?
So I founded BlackMuse. I was when I came from California to Seattle, and I was working with a company called A Better Track, teaching pre-education transition specialist here, and that's where I became a life coach uh, at Echo Glen Children's
And what
Center.
year was this?
That was 2001 to 2002. And so I got two state programs approved through the state, um, all held in VR, for the, and I was the first person to bring VR education into the school system here, the literal very first person to bring that into the state of Washington, in the school system. And, and so I wanted to take it further. I wanted to take my program further. I wanted to give away headsets for free. I wanted to create VR applications for deaf and blind people. Um, and my partners at the time completely disagreed. Um, and and they started to work against me. And so I decided, I was like, this is my idea and everything, and they're just funding it. They were just funding it. So I was like, I'm gonna take my idea, and I funded myself. And believe it or not, I bootstrapped this entire company from day one.
So what's the average cost of a headset?
It's 400.
400. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. 299.
99.
Yes.
Are there like different brands of headsets you can buy, or like is like a high end, middle end, low end?
Yeah, so they got several of them that's out right now. So the ones that we use is Meta's Quest 2. Quest 3 just came out, and then they also have the Quest Pro. So Quest 2 is mid-range, you would say. Quest 3 that just came out would be mid-high tier, and Quest Pro would be like for us adults, meant to replace your laptop type.
Hey, did you see that it was on TikTok, which I spent way too much time on, and it was a video, and the video said, "My mom's first time with AR VR was a disaster," and this lady said VR, and she ran to the fucking stove like
Oh,
full speed, like she was chasing something, she ran full speed, and so like bam,
oh
jumped back over, like,
wow.
and there were like people like, what was she running into? Like people like putting like men models up there and stuff, or like jewelry or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, she ran full speed. Like,
Yeah.
mom's first encounter with VR is a disaster. It was like,
That's how immersive it is.
yeah, it was like, bam. She bounced out the fucking stove.
Yeah. I mean, stuff like it's funny. You don't see that with the kids.
No, no.
You see that with the adults.
Yeah.
The kids, they grab on just like that, but they run into stuff too. They more like hit stuff.
Mhm.
Like the biggest problem that we have with our kids when we have them in class and they have the headsets on is making sure other kids ain't walking around them.
Yeah.
They get punched.
I know, right? Yeah.
And they're playing. Sometimes we allow them to play games when they're not creating. So they're on Gorilla Tag, and Gorilla Tag has an interesting way to move. And so because you can only move with your hands, and so you see the kids with their headsets on, and they're like, and it's like, and you get in there and you're gonna get hit, and it's gonna hurt because they're.
So these kids that in Black Muse, what's their demographic? Are they like from poor economic disadvantaged backgrounds? Middle income? Was this across a wide swath of economic backgrounds and things like that?
It's pretty diverse when it comes to race. but most of them are lower income, and that's what our goal was. It was to bring high education to low income communities because our main goal is to break down doors. Breaking down doors, we want to democratize education. We want to get rid of the financial. We want to get rid of the what's the word I'm looking for? The buy-in, the financial gate that locks people, lower income people, from education.
And for your classes, is there a fee they have to pay?
No, no,
Okay.
no fee.
And that's all covered by you?
It's all covered. All of
Okay.
it is covered.
Okay.
When in collaboration with Metro Parks. Thank you, Metro Parks.
And we're talking about the partnership a minute. Like someone, like how does someone get into your class? Like obviously you can't take on everyone, right? What's the deciding factor to pick someone or not pick someone?
Well, right now we've been doing first come first serve.
Okay.
We when it comes because each one of our sessions classes filled up at 15. We thought about doing interviews and whatnot, but that would literally be the opposite of what our goal was.
Mhm.
And so we decided, you know what? If someone is even remotely interested, we're gonna give them the opportunity, allow them to come. If they if they fuck up their own opportunity, that's them. We're not
Right.
gonna be hard. Our goal is to provide it.
So with that, I'll push back a little bit, right? So I used to volunteer at a thing called TAF in Federal area, right? It's like a technology school for like underprivileged kids, right?
Mhm,
And so we're having like people do pitch competition, right?
mhm,
Like junior high, high school. And I never forget the three young ladies, their idea was to charge your phone by using electricity in your body, right?
hmm,
We're like, oh shit. Like,
mhm,
and like this might be something like
mhm.
and like they kind of had the science down, right? And but then 2 weeks later, two of the girls never came because one of the parents got put in jail or something bad happened, so they could
Mm,
never come again, right?
yeah,
Which is unfortunate, you know.
yeah, and that's a real
I
thing.
mean, sometimes it's hard to overcome your stuff, so to speak, you know.
Yes, yes, that's a real thing, and that's also why we work so hard to try to make sure that we take out any type of limitations that separates them from getting the education that they need. Because I went through that myself. Um, and my first thing I started with, it was graphic design in high school, but I didn't have a computer. How the
Yeah,
hell do
it's
you
hard to do that on a computer. Yeah,
how do you
I
learn this?
mean, you can only do pencil and pen on pad so long. Yeah,
Yes. And sure enough, I barely passed that class. How did I pass that class without even being? But I did my work. I went hard, the best that I could with the little I had, and my skills has grown phenomenally since then. But it was if I only had if I had a teacher that did more than just throw tutorials in front of me that actually gave a fuck about
yeah,
me learning, it would have been a whole different situation. And I feel like that's what we're doing here with these kids. When we have plenty of parents that are like, "Oh, we can't show up,
yeah,
or we can't do this, or this reason and that reason." We expect that.
yeah,
We talk to the parents ourselves.
yeah,
We talk to the parents themselves, and sometimes you gotta make them feel guilty a little bit. Like, oh yeah, I can't make it to the pitch competition. We completely understand some people can't afford to,
yeah.
invest in their kids.
Some people can't afford to see the daughter win first place. You know,
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
yeah.
That
So how do you do this? Like, what you're doing obviously not for everyone. Like, kid signs up, and I mean, y'all can quickly tell like this kid doesn't get it right. He's not his brain's not wired to do this right.
mhm, mhm.
How do you like? You just they keep on going and take a space up. Or you say, hey kid, our parents, hey, like I don't think this is for you.
Mhm.
Like how's that work?
Well, to be honest, I have not had not one
Not
kid
yet. Okay, that's good.
that has been unable to do this. And so um the
I bet if you're teaching 55 years old, that should be different as fuck.
that'd be completely different. That's a different ball game. But when I taught with DVR, the Department of Vocational Rehabilitation, I was only teach specifically doing the same thing I'm teaching the kids in these middle schools right now. But I was teaching they're only teaching kids with mental disorders, only mental disorders. So all different levels of autism and all other different type of mental illnesses and diseases that they're dealing with. And I'm teaching this at their facilities, right? It's like Pearl Youth Residence, Echo Glen Children's Center, Furwood Residence, many different places out here in the surrounding area, right? And I'm teaching this very same stuff. No, No difference. I'm teaching visual scripting, how to code, how to build these assets in a 3D world, in a 3D space. And guess what? These kids with these different, sometimes severe mental issues are still able to pick it up just like that and are able to engage with this VR space on a higher level than they are in reality.
That's one thing I think is a crime in the United States. They're not teaching kids to code until like 9th, 10th grade, right?
Hmm.
They should be fucking teaching them kids like first grade,
It's the
kindergarten.
language.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
language. It's a language. And
Yeah.
the studies show you pick up languages faster the younger you are, right?
Yes.
A lot of schools like, oh, we're like, I have nieces and stuff like, have you learned to code? Oh no, they taught that in 10th grade.
Yeah.
Too
Yeah.
late then.
Like you lost interest in everything. It's hard now.
Yeah. So do you taught yourself all this stuff?
Yes, I did.
Was it YouTube University or the University of David?
University of David.
Okay.
I taught myself how to read. I taught myself how to read. Well, with Hooked on Phonics.
Yeah.
My dad worked at a garbage. He was a garbage man, and he found a Hooked on Phonics thing, cassette tapes, and listened to that over and over again. Taught myself how to read. But I learned how I learned. I learned how to learn.
Okay.
And so I went on to teach myself C sharp, JavaScript, the full front end development and
Yeah.
back end development.
And you did this after the Marines or before the Marines?
After and before.
Okay.
Before was more graphic design. After the Marines is when I went full software development and 3D animation and all
Okay.
that good stuff. Yeah, but all self taught, all self taught.
And who all teaches the kids? Just you and Taylor, or you have other people teaching?
So I have 4 instructors and 2 interns.
And like, how do you find these people? Like, obviously, you can't just have any random dude teaching, kids, right?
Yeah,
Like, what's
yeah.
the process? Like, making sure that they're fucking pedophiles or fucked up people or like drug dealers, like, what's the process that you show the mental parks in the schools? Hey, like, these people have been vetted and
Yeah,
they actually know what they're doing.
We're required to do federal background checks. So we make sure you do federal background checks, and we're very very strict in our interviewing process. But we source from different colleges. The main college right now that we've been sourcing from is Clover Park Community College.
Okay.
And that's been a great resource to get our instructors from. So our last hire, Mr. Nathan, great instructor. He's actually studying to be an architecture. He's in his second year to learn to be an architect.
Mm.
And so, going from AutoCAD, learning, knowing how to do things in AutoCAD to Blender or Quest 2